Hello, I am Amaani Sehgal, and I am with Miss Nadira Panjwani at the Eaters School. Could you please tell me a little bit about yourself and your educational background, please?
Myself. Well, I have spent most of my life in social work. In terms of education, I did my master's in international relations, and then I did an MPhil in the same field from UK. And I came back to Pakistan. That's around the time when my father passed away, and I took on his social responsibilities. He had established a foundation dedicated to welfare work in Pakistan for the promotion of education and health. So I started off with a project, which is the Nadira Panjwani Memorial Hospital. That's a welfare hospital. It's a not-for-profit hospital for the non-deserving population of Karachi. And my next large project was this establishment of this school, which is a school dedicated to the education of the blind children.
Could you please provide me some more information about your experience in the education sector before arriving here?
Before arriving here, well, other than my own academic qualifications, I was not directly involved in education. But once I established this school, then I started learning more about, the needs of the blind and deaf students in terms of education. And I also started teaching at the Rieu University. I joined the Rieu University, which is the academic organ of the Pakistan Navy, as an honorary lecturer. And I was teaching students at the postgraduate level. I continued with that position for about 15, 16 years until my own children started growing up, and then I couldn't make the time for it.
Could you please tell me a little bit about the founder and the history of the Institute?
This is a centennial organization. It was established in the memory of Lady Augusta Rieu. She was the wife of the last commissioner in Sindh of the British Raj. This is before the creation of Pakistan. This is the pre-partition era that I'm talking about. So that lady, Lady Augusta Rieu, she was a very compassionate lady, given to serving the cause of the less fortunate. She had a number of projects in Sindh. So when she passed away, and she died at a young age, it was an accidental death. When she died, there was an outpouring of sympathy and love for her all over the province, and people who were, like the decision makers of the day, they established an association in her name. And this was the year 1922. This is the beginning of Rieu. So from a small association, full-scale educational setup has evolved, where today we have got more than 800 students who are, both blind and deaf, and who are getting a special education over here.
How do you think the education system in Pakistan needs to change or transform in order to further support these students?
Well, our education system needs a lot of improvement, because we have got multiple systems operating in the country, and you do not find uniformity in them. The government schools and colleges are very much backward. They are still using, curriculum and courses which are decades old, while private sector is very dynamic. They are following the Western patterns. So we have to bring a transition. We have to bring uniformity between the two. And a lot of investment, a lot of hard work is required.
What's the difference between them and the faculty at this institute and how they interact with the students?
Well, first of all, I totally agree with what you said about lack of quality teachers in Pakistan, because we talk a lot about the need for education, but as long as qualified teachers are not available, this is not going to happen, because teachers are the vehicle who have to deliver this product to everybody, right? So we need to invest in teacher training. And if you're talking about teachers at this school, where because they have to teach students through the mode of Braille and sign language, so they get a different type of training. Once they join us, they go through a period of intensive training. And this continues. It's an ongoing training, but the basic skills have to be first acquired so that they can teach the students Braille, they can teach the students sign language.
And what exactly gives the faculty the motivation to help these students?
I think it is the cause, it's the mission, working with these children. And once you see that they are developing, they are responding, so they get motivated. There's a lot of love. There is a lot of pure love that they give to their teachers, and that is a motivating factor for all of us.
And how do you ensure that the teachers that are best selected to teach these students? Is there a process or a test?
Yes, we do have a very elaborate system of selection. There are a couple of interviews, and then there is a hands-on demo. They are taken on a probationary period, and then there is again assessment by all the subject experts and the teachers who are working over here. Once they get the all boxes are ticked, then they get a permanent employment.
What kind of jobs do you see these students end up pursuing later in their career?
We actively support them in finding employment because we believe that just providing education is not the end of the story. You hand them a degree and tell them, okay, now you're on your own. That's not right. So we help them in placements, job placements. For the deaf, the field is much larger because the deaf can do everything. It's just that they can't talk. So they get all sorts of jobs. They don't get very high-end jobs, but then they do get employment in factories. They get employment in restaurants. They do get employment in various types of organizations. Now we are also teaching them computers, so that is opening additional avenues for them. As far as the blind are concerned, they are very good in teaching. The issue with the blind is mobility. For them to get from one place to another, they need a lot of support and facilitation. So for them, teaching is a good option. For them, music is a good option. For them, anything related to computers is a good option. They can handle the computer very well. They do, all types of call center jobs. They do online things. In those areas, they find employment.
And what are the types of issues that students face on a daily basis?
For them, transport is an issue in Karachi because, for the blind to go from one place to another, that is a challenge. Lack of empathy and understanding on part of the people is an issue. So we need to bring about greater awareness. We have used this year, centennial year, to generate as much as possible, awareness and empathy for the blind and the deaf in society. We should know what are their needs, what are their special needs, and learn to be more accommodating towards them.
Do many of the students who graduate from this institute come back to help and support, maybe?
They do come back to us. One of the best things about IDRU is that they continue to think of IDRU as their home. And they come to us for their social interactions, they come to us for their sports events, they come to us for counseling, any kind of facilitation that they require, they come to us and they know that we are there for them. They do come back, yes.
And how do you think you can spread awareness about maybe?
Media is a good mode of spreading awareness. We have a lot of public engagement, youngsters like yourself, college students, school students, they come here for their internships, they come here for observation and help to provide us help with our activities. Like I said, media is another way of promoting awareness, and we tend to encourage our students to engage at all forums. They participate in sports activities. We like to have inclusive events, like we have more and more activities wherein they compete with the ordinary children, normal children.
And lastly, what message do you have for the generation such as myself?
Well, I think you should all thank Allah for all the blessings that He has given you. And when you do that, think of the less fortunate and try to play your role in making them also happy and making them more well adjusted in society, accommodating them and facilitating them as far as you can.